Hi, and welcome to Community Kitchen Teachables. My name is Anna, and I work for Community Kitchen Programs, where I run a program called Calgary's Cooking. Today, I want to talk about how you stock your kitchen at home with the most basic, simple hand tools. So we'll begin with knives. Of course, knives are probably one of the most important hand tools that you can have in the kitchen. So what I have here is a set of knives. This one here is a 12-inch chef's knife, and this one here is a 10-inch chef's knife. If you can only have one knife in your kitchen, my suggestion to you is get a knife that fits your hand, whether it's a 12-inch chef's knife or a 10-inch chef's knife. These knives can do pretty much 99% of everything that you would use in a kitchen. The other kind of knife that I would suggest that you get if you can is a bread knife. You'll see here that it is serrated at the bottom. This is the difference between this knife and, say, the chef's knife, is you'll notice that the chef's knife blade is nice and straight, whereas the serrated knife does have the edge on it, or has the serrated blade. The difference between the two is this one is good for slicing and chopping, whereas this one will be ripping through or sawing through your bread. It's also really good for cutting things like biscuits, waffles. It's really good as a tomato knife if you want to cut some tomatoes with it, again, because of the serrated edge. The other thing that I would suggest is get yourself some paring knives. It doesn't matter whether it's a serrated blade or whether it's a straight blade like this. This one is a 6-inch straight blade paring knife, and this one is a 4-inch serrated paring knife. I myself have about 6 of each because these are really versatile, and again, you can use them for almost everything. So then moving along would be whisks, okay? I always keep an assortment of different size of whisks. So you have your large whisk, which would be good for mixing larger amounts of batter, and then you have your smaller whisks, which are good for smaller amounts of batter. It's good to have the two different sizes, and I would probably get 2 or 3 of each size if you can. If not, 1 of each is perfectly fine. The next hand tool that I think is a great addition to the kitchen are heat-resistant spatulas in various sizes. This one, it has a longer handle on it, so this would be a good spatula to use if your batter there's a large amount of it. This one is a bit smaller, and again, this would be really good to use if you have smaller amounts of batter. You may notice too that this one in particular has a bit of a curve in the paddle. You might be able to see it a little bit more here, whereas this one is flat. It doesn't really matter whether you get a curved one or a flat one. I would just rather have a heat resistant. The advantage to having a heat-resistant spatula is if you're using this and you're applying your spatula to heat, it doesn't melt. Some of the spatulas that are not heat-resistant literally will melt in the pan, and you will get melted rubber or plastic in your food, and that is never appetizing. The other thing that is always helpful is a nice ladle. Again, 1 ladle is good. Couple ladles isn't such a bad thing. So this would be good for soup and sauces. Another addition would be a rubber egg flipper. Some of the blades on the rubber flipper are wider than others. It's a preference to which one you want to get. I myself kind of like a bit more of a narrow one. So this would be good for if you're flipping eggs or you're stirring something in a saucepan or a frying pan. That's what would be really good for this. Another addition that's really helpful is a set of wooden spoons. I like probably 2 or 3 different sizes. Again, if you only have the one is more than enough. It will do exactly what you want. So this is good for stirring sauces, soups, chilies, anything in a crock pot. This is really versatile. It makes a little bit more sense to use a wooden spoon for that as opposed to this, okay? The other thing that's really good to have is a handheld can opener. Most handheld can openers, at the very top of the can opener, will have a bottle opener as well. So if you're looking for a handheld can opener, I would get one with a bottle opener. I would go with one that's got a little bit of a heavier handle as opposed to one that is lighter. And the reason being, when you add it to your can to open it up, it helps give weight to the can on the counter so that the can doesn't flip around on the counter, okay? For those that have arthritis in your wrist or your hand, you may want to consider getting a electric can opener. You can get them at all various price points. The only thing to keep in mind is if your power goes out, a handheld can opener will help you open up a can of food, okay? Another addition would be a handheld grater. So this would be a great use for grating cheese, grating vegetables like a carrot or a celery. Handheld is very versatile. It's easy, it stores really well, it cleans really well. So my suggestion is to get a handheld. If you can get a box grater, that's great as well. Just the only thing with the box grater is that it does take up a little bit more space in your drawer. Another great thing to have is kitchen tongs, okay? It doesn't matter what size they are. It doesn't matter if they're metal or plastic or silicone. It's completely up to you. I myself have a collection of about 6 or 7 different sizes of tongs. Some are metal tipped like this one, and some are silicone tipped like this one. You'll also notice that this one is a bit smaller than this one, and this is really good for reaching for pickles in a pickle jar, olives, smaller amounts of food. The metal one is really good if you are working with fried foods and you need to pick up the fried item. A metal one is really good for that. Another addition that's great is kitchen shears, okay? This is very versatile for things like cutting butcher's twine, cutting herbs off of the stems, cutting grapes off of stems. That's what this would be for. Okay, so really get yourself a good set of kitchen shears. Believe me, as soon as you'll have them, you will use them. Another great addition would be a vegetable peeler. Now, vegetable peelers do come in various sizes, colors, styles, weights. It doesn't really matter which you get. Some people like a vegetable peeler that's a little bit more of an ergonomic design. Whatever works for you. I find that this works really well. A vegetable peeler will usually have a straight blade, very similar to what would be on your chef's knife. And on the other side of the vegetable peeler blade, you'll also have a side that's serrated, very similar to this. Both do the job very well. It just is a matter of what side you prefer to peel your vegetables with. Another thing that would be really good to have in your kitchen is a liquid measuring cup and a set of dry measuring cups. Now, for the liquid measuring cup, it doesn't matter if it's glass, Pyrex, plastic, it doesn't matter at all. What you are looking for though is nice clear reading on the side of the measuring cup. In this, you'll notice that it is in red. As soon as this starts to fade, you may want to consider getting yourself a new one. You can get them a little bit smaller than this. This is a 4-cup measuring cup, so this will measure a liter. You can get ones that will just do a cup. You can also get ones that will do 4 liters. Okay, it's completely up to you. Again, when you add your liquid to this, it does get heavy, so you may want to consider that when you are purchasing a measuring cup. The dry measuring cups, I do like to have a couple of different sets at home. It doesn't matter if they're metal or if they're made out of plastic, whatever is easiest and most convenient for you. I do like to get, the standard set is usually 4 different sizes. This is a little bit of a bigger set. So it has 1/8 of a cup, 1/4, 1/3, half, 2/3, 3/4, and 1 cup. You don't necessarily need to go to that extent. A really good place to look for a large set of measuring cups like this set is usually online, but some specialty kitchen stores do have them as well. And then again, you also are going to want a set of measuring spoons. This has a few different sizes. Your basic standard set will usually have the 4 measuring spoons. This set carries 1/8, 1/4, half, 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon. Okay, and again, if you want to look for something that has multiple measuring spoons, you might have to go online and look, but there are some specialty stores that do sell them as well. Okay, and I also like to have a couple of sets. The advantage to having a couple of sets of measuring spoons, measuring cups, and even the glass liquid measuring cups is that often you will use the 2/3 cup or half a cup more than once in a recipe. So it's just nice to have 2 half-cup measuring cups, because then you can just use one and then finish with it, and then use the other and finish with that. And it makes the process of cooking and or baking that much more efficient. And then, of course, the final thing that you should have to help equip your kitchen with basic equipment is you want to have a really nice stack of kitchen hand towels, okay? And then kitchen dishcloths, okay? I would probably do between 3 to about 6 different of each size or of each set. And then again, you also gonna want a nice set of kitchen oven mitts as well. A couple of pairs is fine, but 1 pair is more than enough. And that concludes our video on the most basic kitchen equipment or kitchen hand tools. Thank you very much and enjoy your day.